Hello and welcome. While we're all practicing self-isolation, I thought I would share with you 3 of my favorite images and give you a little bit of a backstory on how I captured them. Not all of them were caught with a big fancy camera, just to give you a little bit of a heads up. Let's jump into Lightroom and get going. Okay, here we are in Lightroom. Let me go ahead and make these a little bit larger for you. We'll start with this guy. This is an image that I captured leaving Tahoe in California. This wasn't planned. This was an image of opportunity. I had spent the day up snowboarding with my sister, and on the drive out, while it was snowing and overcast, we came around the bend and this image presented itself. We were literally parked on the side of the road, and I jumped out with a small point and shoot camera, which is all that I had at the time, and took this picture. About 2 minutes after I took this shot, the light completely changed, leaving no reds and oranges in the sky, and the scene went away. Purely opportunity. This is one of my favorites, partially because it's beautiful. I love it. I love looking at it. I love that winter feeling, but also just remembering that day, remembering that story of spending a really fun day riding and coming down that mountain. It was a great day, and it was capped off with this. As you can see in here, I've done a little bit of work on it, but there's not a ton going on. There used to be up in here a little branch sneaking into the image. I cleaned that out. This was also taken with a fairly old point and shoot, so you can see that it's a little bit of grain in there. Also, the file size is, compared to modern day, rather small, but still, it's one of my favorites and goes to prove the point that not everything needs a big camera. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, this one, I think I call this one Stand Strong. This is another image of opportunity. This one, I was meeting some friends in a park outside of Denver early in the morning. The ground is fairly frozen, you can see. You can see right here, there's ice on here, and the ground was actually pretty frozen and crunchy underfoot. We were heading out to do a little filming for a web series that my friend was filming at the time. And as I crossed the field, I saw this image. I actually shot this with a mobile phone. Now I have a kind of a strange quirk in which when I shoot something with a mobile phone, I edit it on a mobile phone. If I shoot something on my large camera, I edit it on my laptop. I can't explain it. I don't know why. It's just something that I do. But this image was shot with my mobile phone. It was edited. I believe it was using Snapseed, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I do recall that I used a preset. So there was a preset in there. I brought it on. I dimmed it down a little bit. I added a little bit of other things to it, but it was shot and edited on a mobile phone. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one is taken in the High Sierras outside of Yosemite National Park, a little bit south of it. So a few years ago, I had planned about a 28-day backpacking trip through the High Sierras, going essentially from the valley of Yosemite down to the bottom end of Sequoia National Park to Mineral King. My trip was on and off of the John Muir PCT trails, for those of you that are familiar with it. This one, however, this image, I was on day 3 coming in, just the day before getting to Red's Meadow. And I think I was I'll have to look it up and I'll put it on the screen, the name of this lake. But I was just coming down and I came across this woman who was kind of hiking along behind me, and I said hello and hi. And it turns out we ended up camping near the same spot on this lake. She was on one end and I was kind of around the corner. So I went over and decided to say hello and talk with her a little bit. Her name is Lisa Michelle, and I'll put a link to her Instagram up here in the corner. Fantastic woman, and she is an outdoor writer. She does a lot of things. She does films and writings and other adventures and things like that. But she was, in this instance, in the process of writing an article about fly fishing down the John Muir Trail. She was just a couple days into her journey as well. And I found out through conversation that her photographer that was supposed to go with her had backed out a few days before she left on her trip. So she was completely solo, as was I. I offered to shoot photos for her and got a few images of this. This is one of my favorites here, simply because I now have a good friend who I still keep in contact with. And these colors and this mountain and this picturesque scene is just reminds me of a beautiful, beautiful location and a wonderful time disconnecting. So there you have it. 3 of my favorite images and really quick behind the scenes on that. Hopefully you enjoyed those. If you have any other questions, let me know. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.